Tornado with 100-mile-per-hour winds destroyed a small-town bar in Franklin County. Tonight, we hear from the people who spent their day helping clean up after the storm. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Bush.
And I'm Ann Allred. That tornado in Sullivan was one of 3 that touched down in the region overnight. The National Weather Service is also reporting 2 slightly weaker tornadoes with winds up to 85 miles per hour, one near Defiance, the other in Crawford County, southeast of Bourbon. That one was on the ground for a minute and knocked down trees and power lines. Luckily, no reports of any injuries. The threat of severe weather is not over. We remain in storm alert. We have 2 reports tonight. Let's begin with Annie Krall. She is live in Sullivan looking at the damage. Annie.
Thank you, Ann. That tornado hit Sullivan at about 4 o'clock this morning, and it seemingly singled out the One More Pub and Grub as if it had just picked it up off a map. And the people who I spoke to who are regulars here said that today it was very hard to wake up to this destructive scene. One More Pub and Grub bar in Sullivan, now a skeleton of wood, nails, and insulation, making it hard to understand for regulars what happened to this neighborhood favorite early Tuesday morning.
One of my daughter's mom calls me and tells me that One More was no more, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And then she sent me the picture, and I'm like, oh, good Lord.
Seeing it in person was even more difficult. John Patterson said his mom came here all the time. It was hard to keep his eyes dry talking about how he wanted to help clean up in memory of Norma Studdard after losing her to cancer less than a year ago. Why is your mom part of the reason why you wanted to come out here and help?
Felt like I was being close. Didn't get to say goodbye. Yeah. Didn't get to say goodbye.
Saying goodbye like how bar owner Jane Epperson has had to for now, after getting the phone call about her ripped through business shortly after 4 a.m.
And my neighbor, who's an EMT, he called me and he said, Jane, it's either the building or the house. But he had just heard that it was destroyed.
Jane has owned the bar for a decade and rents out the house next door to Ron Bridgman. She immediately called Ron asking if he was all right as the tornado went by overhead.
You don't really have time to be afraid. You'd think you would, and then I guess I was a little shaky and kind of sick at my stomach afterwards.
He's lived here for 4 years and is grateful his house was not damaged. High winds came through in April last year and a tree fell on the same house. When asked why he doesn't move,
We got to live somewhere, and as far as luck, I feel real lucky because I went through 2 of them in just a little over a year, and I'm still here to tell you about it. A lot of people don't get that lucky.
we've been asking all day if the One More Pub and Grub will be rebuilt or if there's even a GoFundMe page to help with some of those reconstruction fees. And the owner, as well as the improvised cleanup crew, tells us it's just too fresh to try and think about building again from the ground up. There was also some minor damage at the Sullivan High School that's nearby, and there had students show up at about the regular time in spite of that minor damage. Reporting live in Sullivan, Annie Krall, 5 on your side.